son of the ninth chaos. No wonder he could control the chaotic will. Chaotic cultivation should mean that his cultivation level was on par with the chaos. With such a high level of hatred, it seemed that Hanju had grasped his weakness. The nine-headed divine spirit was indeed afraid that all living beings would be slaughtered. Hanju snorted in his mind. He wasn't in a hurry to continue speaking and waited for the nine-headed divine spirit to answer. The nine-headed divine spirit, who had transformed into the chaotic will, had an unseen expression, but from the hatred, his expression was definitely not good. The nine-headed divine spirit asked in a low voice, Hanju, it's not impossible to restore everyone's memories. However, you have to give in as well. Back then, the Tao ancestor promised to restrict the future of the heavenly Tao. Where's your promise? Hanju smiled. My promise is not to use the Tao destruction mystical power. The nine-headed divine spirit was furious, but in order to maintain the coldness of the chaotic will, he did not show it. Hanju continued to wait. After a long while, the nine-headed divine spirit suddenly emitted terrifying killing intent. It locked onto Hanju and said, threatening the chaotic will won't end well for you. Tao destruction mystical power? That's only a heavenly Tao mystical power. How can it destroy all living beings in the chaos? The chaotic will suddenly attacked. Hanju felt endless darkness devouring him. Other than darkness, there was only the chaotic will in his eyes. He did not wait for death. He took out the ultimate origin heaven seal and was about to attack when he suddenly looked up. He saw countless chains formed by lightning descending and quickly trapping him. His limbs were locked. The ultimate origin heaven seal collided with the chains. The chaotic will appeared in front of him. Their eyes met and Hanju saw a pair of extremely cold eyes that looked like snakes and humans. It made him feel as if he was in a cold cellar. Hanju broke free from the countless chains and used the divine might great heaven palm. His right palm directly pierced through the chaotic will's body as if nothing happened. At this moment, an indescribable force exploded from Hanju's body, instantly tearing his body apart. In the third Tao field, Hanju opened his eyes and asked in his mind, can the Tao creator infiltrate my third Tao field? Although he was already prepared, he still had to ask. No! Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. The living beings in the third Tao field were all nurtured by him. There was no chaotic karma or providence at all. Xing Hongxian had already passed a round of absolute purification and escaped the control of the chaotic karma and the chaotic will. Qingwaner's heavenly Tao karma was very shallow and she was sealed in the primordial world by Hanju. She wasn't in the third Tao field. The current third Tao field had no karma with the chaos and the heavenly Tao. It couldn't be controlled by the chaotic will. The third Tao field's array formation could resist a creator lord. However, there was no creator lord in the current world. Hanju stood up. His eyes were cold as he quickly walked out of the third Tao field. He came in front of Ancestor Tiansu and said, leave your soul fragment behind. I'll send you out. After you leave, immediately use the life of all. I want all the living beings in the chaos to die. Ancestor Tiansu immediately split a soul fragment without another word. Hanju waved his sleeve and sent him out. Ancestor Tiansu appeared in the chaotic void and immediately raised his hands to execute life of all. The dermic powers of a perfected Great Tao Supreme quickly changed, turning into a golden impact that rushed out of his body. It was like a golden circle that quickly expanded and swept through the chaos. The nine-headed divine spirit appeared in front of him and said angrily, how dare you! With that, Ancestor Tiansu's body instantly exploded, leaving only a head. Ancestor Tiansu stared at the nine-headed divine spirit with a murderous gaze and did not say a word. The nine-headed divine spirit was infuriated. Life of all was too fast. In less than a breath of time, it swept through all living beings in the entire chaos. All the living beings in the world were reduced to ashes. Every living thing was affected. It was not only the chaotic life forms. The living beings of the heavenly Tao were also reduced to ashes. The nine-headed divine spirit said angrily, "Crazy! Lunatic! Hanju! You will definitely be doomed for eternity." He raised his hand and crushed ancestor Tiansu's head. Then, he began to search for Hanju's aura. Soon, he arrived at the universe of stars. All the newly born living beings in the universe of stars were also destroyed. As for Liu Bei, he had long been taken back by Han Zhu. As his clone, Liu Bei's memories were not changed by the chaotic will. The nine-headed divine spirit went to the third Tao field and attacked crazily, wanting to barge into it. Unfortunately, the third Tao field did not move no matter how he attacked. The in-named disciples, Liu Bei, ancestor Tiansu, and Xing Hongxian looked at the terrifying nine-headed divine spirit in panic. Hanju was very calm. "Husband, could he?" Xing Hongxian asked carefully. Hanju said, "I never do anything I'm not confident in. I'm just pretending to be crazy." He wanted to bet on a possibility. Ninth chaos. If he gambled wrongly, at most, he would hide in the third Tao field and cultivate until he reached the Creator Lord realm before going out. At that time, the 5 Tao creators wouldn't be enough for him to crush with one hand. The nine-headed divine spirit's mystical power rumbled extremely loudly and echoed throughout the entire chaos. However, there were no longer any living beings in the chaos. Even the great Tao divine spirits had perished. The ultimate god of punishment appeared and looked at the nine-headed divine spirit in shock. "What is this?" The ultimate god of punishment sighed. At this moment, he also felt a few powerful auras. They were not weaker than him and didn't participate in the battle against Hanju. Indeed, there are still so many mighty figures hidden in the chaos. The ultimate god of punishment thought to himself. He looked up and noticed that the 3,000 Great Tao began to shrink. With the death of all living beings in the chaos, the power of rules began to weaken. The chaotic space began to collapse. It was returning to its initial state. The nine-headed divine spirit ignored the ultimate god of punishment and the worms lurking in the dark. He kept attacking and was extremely panicked. "How is that possible? Why can't I barge in? Could it be the power of the Tao creator? Divine might, heavenly sage, anomaly. Could it be?" The more the nine-headed divine spirit thought about it, the more panicked he became. Despair surged in his heart. He had gambled wrongly. He thought that Hanju was bluffing. He didn't expect him to really be able to destroy all living beings. The attack speed of the nine-headed divine spirit slowed down. Not long after, he stopped. He trembled and knelt in the void. From the point of view of the ultimate god of punishment, he seemed to be kneeling in front of Hanju's Tao field. "This is..." The ultimate god of punishment was shocked. The chaotic divine authority had also bowed down to his master? However, that was not the case. At this moment, a figure appeared in front of the nine-headed divine spirit. Even a powerful existence like the ultimate god of punishment couldn't spy on it. The nine-headed divine spirit looked at the blurry figure in front of him and said with a trembling voice, "Father, I was wrong." Ninth chaos. The ninth chaos woke up with the destruction of all living beings in the chaos. Without receiving a reply from his father, the nine-headed divine spirit became even more nervous and began to beg for mercy. Hanju couldn't see the ninth chaos either, but he guessed the truth upon looking at the nine-headed divine spirit's panicked appearance. The ninth chaos descended. Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. He was gambling that the ninth chaos could uphold justice and revive all living beings. He had used the ultimate origin heaven seal to take in his disciples in the previous battle. However, there were two people outside who he had not grabbed in time. One was the evil heavenly emperor and the other was Han Qinger. The evil heavenly emperor had a Tao creator behind him, but Han Qinger was a little pitiful. There was no choice. Hanju felt that the ninth chaos definitely had a way to revive all living beings. Otherwise, he would have stopped them long ago. If the chaos was in trouble, how could they not know about such an extraordinary existence? The ninth chaos didn't stop Hanju, which meant that he didn't care at all. Hanju began to wait. The nine-headed divine spirit begged bitterly. When he said the word Father, the ultimate god of punishment and the hidden mighty figures were shocked. Father? Wasn't this the chaotic will? How could it have a father? The ultimate god of punishment and the others were confused. Could it be that this fellow was not the chaotic will? Apart from the nine-headed divine spirit, no one could see the ninth chaos slowly raise his right hand and press down on the nine-headed divine spirit's head. The nine-headed divine spirit was so frightened that he didn't dare to move. Boom! The nine-headed divine spirit instantly exploded into dust. At the same time, the ultimate god of punishment seemed to sense something and was moved. He could feel life beginning to recover everywhere in the chaos. The dead living beings revived one after another. Especially in the Grand Primordium domain, the million great Tao sages had all been revived. Their auras gathered and were vast like smoke. In the third Tao field, a notification appeared in front of Hanju. The ninth chaos sent you a dream. Do you accept? Hanju took a deep breath and asked in his mind, will I die if I accept the dream? 100 quadrillion years of lifespan will be deducted. Do you want to continue? Continue. No. He silently chose to continue. Dream. Hanju opened his eyes and discovered that he was in a vast purple aura space. This was primordial chaos. Hanju turned around and saw a blurry black shadow looking at him from afar. Who are you? He asked in a low voice. Even if he knew, he had to pretend not to. A hoarse voice sounded, Hanju, you reincarnated from the primordial chaos. You floated between the primordial chaos and the chaos for countless years before finally finding the chaos and descending into the heavenly Tao. You were determined by the Tao ancestor to be an anomaly. Hanju was moved. He was really shocked. What did the ninth chaos mean? He was from the primordial chaos? Hanju had always thought that the Earth in his previous life was in the Earth immortal world because its development was the same as the Earth in his previous life. However, without him, his relatives would have long died. From the sound of it, could it be that the Earth he came from was not this chaos? Hanju was shocked. Could it be that the system was the power of rules of the 8th chaos? No wonder there were so many treasures. No wonder it had seen the primordial fiend celestial. The primordial chaos was still around when the 8th chaos was destroyed, so the primordial fiend celestial was naturally still around. Could this be the reason why the 9th chaos placed the 8th chaos reincarnation in the heavenly Tao and became Su Chi's disciple? He wanted him to receive the 8th chaos favor. Hanju would be indebted to the 8th chaos if he was really born in the 8th chaos. However, this was all in the past. What he cared about the most was the 9th chaos attitude towards this matter. No matter what happened, he would fall out with them and hide in the Tao field to cultivate if the 9th chaos wanted to target him. In this life, Hanju only lived for himself. He wouldn't give up his life to save the people around him if he could. What he did seemed crazy to the others, but he knew that it was a situation he was absolutely confident in. He was so selfish and never felt ashamed about it. He could have kindness, love, and feelings, but they couldn't occupy his Tao heart that wanted to survive. The ninth chaos continued. The so-called chaotic will is actually the identity of my son, the nine-headed divine spirit. Although I established the ninth chaos, I'm busy cultivating. I usually leave the ninth chaos to the nine-headed divine spirit to control. I've already deduced this matter. It's not your fault. You can only blame him for being narrow-minded and not allowing juniors to surpass him. He's even more afraid of anomalies outside the chaos. Not pursuing the matter? Hanju was delighted. Ninth chaos voice was still so hoarse that one couldn't hear any emotions, but this time, it caused the surrounding nebulous primordial chi to surge violently. Hanju said, I didn't want to do this, either. I was really desperate. With your cultivation level, you should be able to see everything I've done in my life. I've never provoked any existence. It's always others who want to kill me. I'll hide in the Tao field and see what you can do. The ninth chaos said, I indeed know. This is also the reason why I'm willing to not pursue the matter. All living beings in the chaos have already been revived by me, including all the living beings in the heavenly Tao. It's the same for your family. However, remember one thing. The heavenly Tao can develop, but it must always be under the great Tao divine spirit's control and cannot be stronger than the power of a region. I shouldn't tolerate the heavenly Tao, but on account of the difficulties for all living beings, if they want to pursue a higher cultivation level, they can abandon the heavenly Tao's providence-like. You. Hanju was secretly afraid. Was this the reason why the ninth chaos had never attacked him? Although he was helping the heavenly Tao, he didn't have its karma and providence on him. He had been too naive in the past. Hanju said, Thank you for your understanding, senior. May I ask what your Tao title is? The ninth chaos said, The ninth chaos is me. I am the ninth chaos. You are the chaotic will? Hanju pretended to be shocked. The ninth chaos said, There's no need to pretend. Actually, you've long spied on the existence above the chaos. I wouldn't have let you grow if not for the fact that you're from the eighth chaos. With that, the dream shattered. Ninth chaos voice sounded in Hanju's ears. Cultivate well. I won't interfere in the matters of the chaos. I look forward to the day you surpass the chaos. Hanju opened his eyes and frowned. He suddenly couldn't understand the ninth chaos. However, on second thought, if the ninth chaos did not want any Tao creators to appear, there would only be one, not five. How's the situation? Xinghong Xian came up and asked nervously. She had already learned from ancestor Tian Su how terrifying life of all was. The entire chaos had been destroyed. She couldn't imagine what kind of existence she would have to face if the matter couldn't be solved. Hanju said, It's already over. The chaotic will should have been removed now. The living beings destroyed have already been revived by the Lord of Chaos. But what? Xinghong Xian, Liu Bei, and ancestor Tian Su became nervous. Hanju sighed. It's just a pity that ancestor Tian Su's cultivation realm can't be recovered. The three of them were caught between laughter and tears. Ancestor Tian Su said, It's fine. I'll just cultivate again. To be honest, I don't dare to bear such huge karma. Destroy all living beings in the chaos. This was definitely the craziest thing he had ever done. Hanju smiled. Let's rest. I have to check the heavenly Tao too. With that, he vanished. At the same time, in the Grand Primordium domain, the million great Tao sages looked at each other. The atmosphere was strange. The ultimate origin heaven seal suddenly appeared and released Han Huang and the others. Their appearance did not surprise the other mighty figures, who thought that they had just revived. This calamity is over. We no longer have to target the divine might heavenly sage. The memories of all living beings have been recovered. Everyone from the future, we thank you here. The Holy Mother of Order bowed. The other great Tao sages and great Tao divine spirits bowed. Nearly 1,000,000 mighty figures looked at each other, not knowing what to say. At this moment, the chaotic divine authority appeared above and sucked away the 1,000,000 future experts. Han Huang looked at Han Yao and frowned. Han Yao turned around and smiled. Ancestor Han Huang, I forgot to tell you. I'm still half your disciple. You have to take good care of me in the future. Han Huang was stunned. Jiang Juesher looked around and discovered that his future self had disappeared. He had not seen his future self when he revived. Soon, the 1,000,000 future experts were all sent back by the chaotic divine authority. The grand primordium domain fell silent. The great Tao divine spirits and great Tao sages present looked at each other. Although the matter was over, how should they face the divine might heavenly sage? The memories of the previous battle were not erased. The divine might heavenly sage suppressed 1,000,000 great Tao sages and thousands of great Tao supremes. The ultimate god of punishment suddenly appeared beside the Holy Mother of Order. The Holy Mother of Order bowed slightly. The ultimate god of punishment waved his hand and the nearby mighty figures left. Han Huang and the others were the same. Soon, only the two of them were left. The ultimate god of punishment asked, "You knew the truth long ago? Then, have you considered what the divine might heavenly sage thinks of you?" The ultimate god of punishment asked with a faint smile. The Holy Mother of Order said, "He will understand." Hee hee. Heavenly Tao, outside the 33rd heaven, in the Universal Hall. The sages gathered. It's like a dream. You feel the same? Indeed. What happened in the past few decades? I dreamed that the heavenly Tao was destroyed. Isn't it fine? It's probably a mighty figure who wants to harm us. Fortunately, the heavenly Tao has the divine might heavenly sage. The sages discussed and their gazes landed on Hanju, who was beside heavenly venerate Shendu. Their eyes were filled with admiration. Hanju was looking at the notification. It was all favorability notifications. It was too much for him to take in. Heavenly venerate Shendu smiled. Since the heavenly sage has already said that it's fine, let's talk about the chaotic heavenly roads. It has been destroyed many times over the years. We have to restore them. The sages were furious at the mention of this. More than half of the chaotic heavenly roads have been destroyed. How could they not be angry? Most importantly, they didn't know who to settle scores with. Hanju didn't interrupt. The clone in the 100-peak Immortal River was interacting with Li Xianao and stabilizing order. In short, the calamity caused by the chaotic will was over. All living beings did not remember what had happened, but the great Tao sages remembered it clearly and could be considered to have gained something. From now on, no one in the chaos should dare to find trouble with Hanju. The only problem was the heavenly Tao's development. Hanju felt that he could give the ninth chaos some face. He could let the heavenly Tao develop to the strength of a region at most and not any stronger. The ninth chaos could have chosen not to revive all living beings in the heavenly Tao, but he had already displayed his extraordinary bearing. Hanju naturally couldn't pester him endlessly. It wouldn't be of any practical help to him even if the heavenly Tao developed well. Instead, it would benefit Pango and the Tao ancestor. Hanju could now look at his primordial world. Several hours later, Hanju left the Universal Hall and returned to his Taoist temple. Just as he was meditating, a notification appeared in front of him. The Holy Mother of Order sent you a dream. Do you accept? Can't sit still? Hanju sneered. He wanted to refuse, but he decided to see what this fellow had to say after thinking about it. The Holy Mother of Order could summon the chaotic divine authority. This was stronger than the ultimate god of punishment. She could be considered the most powerful among the divine spirits. The dream was the Holy Mother of Order's domain. It was vast and boundless. Hanju stood in the air and looked at the Holy Mother of Order. The Holy Mother of Order said, "Heavenly Sage, congratulations on passing this calamity." Hanju smiled. The Holy Mother of Order said, "Does the Heavenly Sage hate me for attracting so many powerful enemies? If not for dragging the future of the chaos over, that unknown existence would not have acted. You can't defeat the chaotic will. Even if you can stay here, your disciples, children, and the heavenly Tao will all die. If only the living beings of the chaos were destroyed, that existence would not have punished the chaotic will. You and the chaotic will would still be mortal enemies. You would still be in danger. Now that the future of the chaos was affected, so the chaotic will naturally won't survive." Hanju raised his eyebrows. That made sense. Hanju said angrily, "You know that too." The Holy Mother of Order said, "By doing this, at least the chaotic will won't blame me. It can also force him to have no choice but to take action." Hanju didn't reply. This grudge wouldn't be resolved if she didn't show some sincerity. The Holy Mother of Order said a lot, but it was nothing more than the analysis of the situation. The Holy Mother of Order was silent. Hanju was not in a hurry. The opportunity was in front of her. If she rejected, Hanju would also forcefully invite her to be a guest. After a long while, the Holy Mother of Order said, "All right." Hanju smiled and nodded before breaking through the dream. He opened his eyes and thought for a moment. He would first take everyone in the third Tao field into the primordial world and release them after subduing the Holy Mother of Order. After all, she was also a great Tao Supreme and could easily injure the others in the Tao field. The Holy Mother of Order arrived quickly. She didn't hide her aura. In the chaos, she was like a bright lamp moving through the darkness. She came to the third Tao field and bowed slightly. Hanju used the derivation function. After confirming that there was no danger, he moved the Holy Mother of Order in and directly used the Great Change sealing palm to forcefully seal her. Then, he released the disciples, Liu Bei, Xing Hongxian, and Qing Waner into the primordial world. He then teleported to the main Tao field and threw the Holy Mother of Order into the primordial heavenly prison. The Holy Mother of Order sat beside Hanju and stared at him calmly, not panicking at all. Hanju couldn't be bothered to say anything. Time passed quickly. 100,000 years passed quickly. The Holy Mother of Order had yet to be enslaved, but she had already lost consciousness. She sat in meditation like a statue. Hanju opened his eyes. He was in a good mood. All these years of cultivation caused his cultivation level to steadily increase. Although the Tao Creator realm was still far away, it was fine as long as he became stronger. After dealing with the nine-headed divine spirit, there should be no more trouble in the chaos for a long time. The current Hanju stood at the peak of the chaos and had overwhelming power. No one dared to find trouble with him unless those ancient mighty figures who had been suppressed for a long time had already been abandoned by the era and couldn't see the situation clearly. Even so, he would not let his guard down. For example, the ninth chaos directly suppressed the nine-headed divine spirit and waved his hand to revive all living beings. Hanju was an ant in front of him. There were 5 Tao creators. Hanju looked at the situation of himself with the ninth chaos and seriously suspected that the other 4 Tao creators might also have their own world. It was as vast as the chaos and was created with the boundary evidence, so they rarely interfered with the chaos. Of course, he was only guessing. In any case, the chaos was definitely the strongest world. After all, the ninth chaos was the strongest. The value of the ninth chaos was 100 quadrillion years, while the Tao creator was 1 quadrillion years. The difference was obvious. Hanju started to check his emails. Your good friend Jiang Yi was attacked by an inauspicious evil, X60982321. Your disciple Tao Sovereign was attacked by an inauspicious evil, X73110720. Your good friend Evil Heavenly Emperor has received guidance from a transcendent existence. His cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Huang Zuntian has entered the Divine Authority domain. His providence has increased. Your son Han Huang was attacked by a mysterious mighty figure. Your good friend Azure Heaven Mystic has entered the chaotic crack. Your son Han Tuo received guidance from your good friend, the ultimate god of punishment. His cultivation has increased greatly. Peace was really good. Hanju looked at his friends in the emails who had obtained different opportunities and felt relieved. What was so good about fighting? Hanju began to look forward to the chaotic assembly. This event encountered many twists and turns. He had to open it. Hanju continued cultivating after reading the emails. Tens of thousands of years later, the Holy Mother of Order was successfully enslaved and developed a favorable impression of him. After instructing the Holy Mother of Order and letting her out, Hanju continued cultivating. No matter what, the cycle of seclusion could not change. Just like that, Hanju only ended his cultivation after another 100,000 years. He sent a dream to the evil Heavenly Emperor. The evil Heavenly Emperor was dissolute and had countless sons. He definitely had a daughter. Evil Heavenly Emperor immediately smiled. I also have the same intention. Then, I will definitely choose the woman with the best appearance to marry Huang'er. It's just that Huang'er doesn't like women. The only woman close to him is Qing'er. Tell him that I need him to spread my bloodline. Alright, ha ha ha. The evil Heavenly Emperor laughed. He coveted Han Huang's bloodline. It would be a good thing if he could spread his bloodline in the heavenly court. Hanju brought Xian Qingjun to the third Dao field after the dream ended. She was finally pregnant after the two of them struggled for a period of time. The potential of this fetus was at most on par with Han Tuo. Hanju established a new Daoist temple for Xian Qingjun beside his Daoist temple. Then, he sent a dream to Hanyu after she settled down. He hoped that Hanyu could marry the woman beside him as soon as possible. These words made Hanyu very embarrassed, but he didn't dare to refuse. Hanju smiled in satisfaction after doing all of this. He hadn't used the creation heavens chosen yet. Actually, Hanju could also use it directly. This way, his current children might obtain a great creation. However, this was not a good thing. What would Han Huang think if Han Tuo or Han Qing'er obtained it? What would happen to Han Huang if he obtained it? He would definitely overturn the world in the future. Hanju remembered clearly the future he created for Han Huang. This kid might face a calamity. He had to control him well. In addition, Hanju also hoped that his bloodline could be passed down generation after generation. It couldn't be that the higher the seniority, the stronger the talent. That would only lead to ruin. Moreover, the creation heavens chosen had been used more than once. If someone was lucky and was chosen, that would be fate. A year later, Xian Qingjuan's child was born. It was not a son, but a daughter. Hanju named her Hanling. Hanling wasn't as lively as Han Qing'er. She was more reserved and rarely spoke. Xian Qingjun continued to cultivate after Hanling grew up. Ignoring her, Hanju let his daughter stay in his Taoist temple and cultivate beside him. Hanju could sense that Xian Qingjun didn't like Hanling that much. She seemed to want a son more. Hanju began to use the creation heavens chosen upon seeing that his second daughter had already entered a cultivation state. Activate the creation heavens chosen. A random great creation will appear among your children. Your daughter Hanling has awakened an innate great creation primordial emperor star. As soon as these 3 lines of words appeared, Hanling, who was beside Hanju, suddenly changed. Strange purple chi surrounded her body. Primordial Emperor Star? Hanju's eyelids twitched. It looked a little impressive. He carefully checked Hanling's introduction. The Primordial Emperor Star was only a great creation and not a bloodline. It was one of the primordial fates. From the looks of it, although there was only one primordial fiend celestial during the primordial era, there were also primordial life forms. Otherwise, the 9 chaos would not have been born. Hanju sighed as he stared at his daughter. He didn't expect a woman to obtain the great creation of an emperor. Because Hanling was restrained and didn't like to talk, Hanju doted on her. Now that he looked back, he did the right thing. Hanling might have embarked on an evil path after obtaining the great creation if he had ignored her. As an emperor, it was easy to be stubborn. The spirit chi in the 3rd Dao field began to surge into Hanling's body. Dressed in white, Hanling had an otherworldly temperament. She had inherited Hanju's looks and was devastatingly beautiful. Her expression was cold, and a purple aura surrounded her. Gradually, a purple pattern condensed between her eyebrows. Hanling finally woke up after several years. Her cultivation level quickly reached the golden immortal realm in these few years. She was only a step away from the emperor realm. She opened her eyes and felt the extraordinariness in her body. She was pleasantly surprised and also a little nervous. She looked at her father and asked softly, "Father, there seems to be something wrong with me." Hanju didn't even open his eyes. "That's your own opportunity. Feel it well and do not worry. From now on, you will enter seclusion with me. Every time you enter seclusion, it will be for 100,000 years." 100,000 years. Hanling was moved, but she didn't refuse and silently accepted this arrangement. Above the chaos, great Tao divine spirits gathered. The Holy Mother of Order, the ultimate god of punishment, and the 5 great divine punishers also came. After several years, the 3,000 great Tao finally calmed down. The ultimate god of punishment looked at the Holy Mother of Order and asked, "What did the Holy Mother deduce?" The Holy Mother of Order said, "An innate great creation has descended. I can't guess who it is or where it is." The other great Tao divine spirits discussed. Over the years, not only have there been more and more great Tao sages, but also more and more geniuses have appeared. Looks like the divine might heavenly sage is not the only one. He has begun a new era. We have to check our domains carefully. We have to grasp such a great opportunity well. That's right. Unfortunately, this child will miss the first chaotic assembly. Han Tuo and Yi Tian were also discussing this. Yi Tian sighed. "There are more and more demons. Your brother has an opponent." Han Huang was already the #1 prodigy of the chaos. He was born as freedom. Now that he was a great Tao sage, his cultivation talent was unparalleled. Even the divine might heavenly sage was inferior. Yi Tian also smiled. "How about that woman last time? Did she really not catch your eye?" The other 3 divine punishers also revealed strange smiles. Han Tuo sighed. "I'm not in the mood to seek love. Don't mention this anymore. As for my father, I'll just apologize to him." On the other side, the ultimate god of punishment said a few words and disappeared. The Holy Mother of Order left. After the 3,000 great Tao regained their calm, the great Tao divine spirits naturally had no reason to stay. However, the news of this matter also spread in the chaos. Countless domain mighty figures knew that a monstrous prodigy not inferior to Han Huang would appear in the chaos. The news also reached the heavenly court. The evil heavenly emperor found Han Huang and told him about this. Han Huang, who was only a step away from the great Tao Supreme Realm, had a stronger aura than the evil heavenly emperor. He was no longer the rash kid from before. The evil heavenly emperor smiled. He knew Han Huang's personality and could only mourn for that mysterious prodigy. Your father asked to arrange a marriage for you. How about my subordinate, Princess Jialong? She's my bloodline and has a great Tao sage as her master. Her talent is not bad. She's not far from attaining the primordial chaos realm. In terms of looks, she's considered top-notch among my princesses. The evil heavenly emperor smiled. Han Huang frowned. The evil heavenly emperor said, "You're already old enough. You should help spread the Han family bloodline. These are your father's words. After all, your brother lost his wife back then and won't marry again. If you refuse, the Han family will have no descendants." Han Huang shook his head. "Thank you for your kind intentions, Your Majesty. Princess Jialong is indeed very good, but I don't need a woman. I don't want a weakness." His eyes were firm. The evil heavenly emperor said helplessly, "Even if you don't want a weakness, you have to have a woman, right? This is human nature." The evil heavenly emperor was stunned. Han Huang stood up and twisted his body. He smiled and said, "Your Majesty, I'll help you take down the world that the heavenly court has recently been stuck in. Just you wait." With that, he transformed into a golden rainbow and sped away, disappearing from the palace in the blink of an eye. The evil heavenly emperor frowned and muttered, "Did something happen to this kid?" No. He had to think of a way. He wouldn't be able to face Hanju if Han Huang's personality was distorted. 100,000 years later, Hanju opened his eyes and looked at Hanling beside him. The father and daughter did not speak for 100,000 years. If it were Han Qing'er, she would have long gone mad, but Hanling's personality was so patient. She had just turned 18 and entered seclusion for 100,000 years. Who could stand it? Hanju was very satisfied with her performance. Hanling had already reached the primordial chaos realm with the primordial emperor stars help. Hanling opened her eyes and looked happy upon sensing her father's gaze. "Father," Hanling spoke softly. Hanju touched her long hair. He smiled and said, "Not bad. I'm very satisfied." Hanling beamed. She raised her hand and waved. A purple figure appeared beside her. "W. Father, I discovered that every time I break through a minor realm, such an emperor soldier will appear in my soul. Its strength is the same as mine. Now, there are already 10,000 emperor soldiers in the depths of my soul," Hanling introduced. Although her voice was still very soft, she couldn't hide the smugness in her tone. 10,000 sage-level emperor soldiers? Hanju was shocked. Was the primordial emperor star so terrifying? Even so, it was still very terrifying. The creation heavens chosen was a little impressive. Hanju said, "You have to hide this emperor army well. Unless it's absolutely necessary, you can't show it. You have to kill the enemy once you use it." Kill? Hanling was stunned. She had never even seen outsiders, so she naturally had no intention of killing them. Hanju stood up and said, "Let's go. Father will bring you out for a walk to gain experience and prevent anything from happening to you when you travel the chaos in the future." Hanling stood up. "I'm willing to cultivate by your side forever. I don't want to walk in the chaos.